Christ is really the reality that is man, the God that is in man. Now, it is all about being done on the other side of the veil, or is there something that you and I can do on this side of that dividing wall? For we are told the wall is broken down to make of the two one new man. Now, let me share with you a story told me recently by a very dear friend of mine, one who has had most of my experiences. He's saying someone who's experienced the promise. He wrote me this letter just a few weeks ago. You listen to it carefully because God speaks to man through the medium of dream, and he unveils himself through the medium of revelation. My dreams this morning, wow. New man dreams for sure. Remember now, we're always talking about practice it consistently. Your dreams will be affected. God speaks to man through the medium of dream, and he unveils himself through the medium of revelation. That's how he unveils himself. Well, here is his letter. He holds up his letter. He said, I awoke at 6 a.m. It was too early to get up, so I thought I would simply remain in bed and do some purposeful imagining. As I started, this thunderous voice came from within me declaring, I am God. I am self-contained. I am self-sufficient. And it kept it over and over and over. And finally I said to it, I know, and I'm trying to do something about it, but you're speaking so loudly, I cannot imagine. But it persisted. It kept on repeating, I am God. I am self-sufficient. I am self-contained. Over and over and over. So I said, it seemed to me like blank space. And so I thought, if you can't prevent it, relax and enjoy it. So I simply lay there in bed and listened and enjoyed it and fell sound asleep. This proclamation from within that I am God, I am self-contained, I am self-sufficient. Now listen to this other dream, as he calls it. These are real revelations. He said, I found myself in a desert, a vast desert of nothingness, not a blade of grass, not a shrub, not a cactus, not a tree, but nothing. Just an infinite desert, and here I am in this vast nothingness. But in my hand, it seemed that I held some golf balls, and I took one and threw it. Where a moment before there was nothing, in 5 seconds, not more than 5 seconds, boom! A beautiful home and lawn appeared in Technicolor. I threw another, and another lovely home and yard appeared in Technicolor with people around it. Then I took another ball and I threw it across the way, and here this wonderful putting green appeared adjacent to this wonderful golf course. A man that I discovered to be at my side said, Isn't that terrific? You put the ball right next to the cup. And he answered, Oh, no, I don't do it that way. I put the ball down and then I put the hole next to the ball. That's how I play the game. Then I created a huge, great gate, and this friend of mine and I walked through the gate that I had created. As I went through the gate, I came upon the most miserable scene that you can imagine. The most dilapidated house, completely gone. But what dilapidation! Exclamation point. And next to it, this horrible streetcar in the very last stages of decay. So I took a ball and I started to throw it, and it wouldn't leave my hand. I couldn't get the ball to depart from my hand. I threw it, and it just wouldn't go. But I said to myself, well, maybe I'm not ready for it. Maybe it's beyond me. I threw it, and I said, no, I can't. It's beyond me, beyond my power to do it. Then after a long wait, this was what the dilapidated house suddenly turned into, the most modern hotel, and what was a dilapidated streetcar into a streamlined bus, which quickly drove off. Here I could not, he said, change or let go of the past. I couldn't let go. I came upon the past. It was so easy to create out of nothing. Yet out of nothing I could create anything. But when it comes to something I know to be a fact, I couldn't change it. Therein lies the lie. I couldn't let go of the past. But I persisted and persisted and persisted, and persistency was rewarded. Eventually, it turned into this glorious new, very modern hotel and a new streamlined bus which drove off. This is exactly in line with the way I'm going to break down Dead Like Me. It's exactly in line with this. The characters in the show, in the series, it's a 2-season series, they are grasping a hold of, I'll be spoiling this, I shouldn't say a whole lot here, but they're not able to let go of the past, put it that way. Every single one of the characters, which gives you a very interesting view of what he's saying now. If you have seen it, great. If not, check it out because it'll be coming up a couple weeks. Eventually, it turned into this glorious new, very modern hotel and a new streamlined bus which drove off. Then he said, I came upon a scene that resembled the Miracle Mile on Wilshire, with an island up the middle. But it was a strange setting. Here were all these kids, boys and girls, the boys in horrible messy pants and the girls in bikinis. It was so unlike what you should see on the Miracle Mile. So I thought, well, I'll throw another ball there. So I threw another ball, and suddenly they were completely transformed into the most beautifully dressed ladies and gentlemen, dining al fresco under umbrellas, waited on by the most elegantly dressed waiters. I turned to my friend and said, maybe I should have left them as they were. He's a very humorous man, may I tell you, because his profession is really writing humorous things. So he always ends his letters to me in a very humorous vein. So he had to add that note, maybe I should have left them, and I awoke maybe not a moment too soon. Well, do you know, back to Neville, do you know that God speaks to man through the medium of dream?